Okay, and we're back. This is for the last session in this section. I think this one's going to be super useful for anybody who is new to Umbraco 9, whether you're coming from Umbraco 7 or 8, or whether you're new to Umbraco from other .NET platforms. The next talk is going to be about how different is V9 Plus, because of course it's V10 as well. And please welcome remotely, hopefully she can hear me, I'll pass you over to Busra. Please give a round of applause.
Thank you, everyone. Oh, wow, I hear myself. Right. I am Busra, and I was supposed to be there on the stage, but thanks to Danish embassy, they haven't returned my passport and I couldn't come. So I am now in Turkey, but the rumors wasn't true. I'm not on the beach, although I really wanted to go. And I am working for Bump Digital. I'm a .NET and Umbraco developer. I am also a documentation curator, certified master, grandmaster, because I have all the green ticks. You need to see my profile. And as of yesterday, I am also second-time MVP. Today, I'm going to tell you how different Umbraco version 9 and 10 now as of today. With the latest technology, we developers can sometimes feel a little bit left out because of the projects that we work on, sometimes even FOMO or imposter syndrome. But with this talk, I'll be telling you some differences in Umbraco with the purpose at the end that to make you feel a little bit relieved, as new technology shouldn't be as scary. So let's get started. Remember Project Unicorn? Project Unicorn was for making Umbraco 9. Umbraco 9's first alpha release was September 2020, and the actual release was September 2021. HQ did an amazing job, but I'll give you some community stats, as the community was heavily involved, and I'm sure you all watched the launch for version 9, and Emma again mentioned yesterday. Total community PRs was 145, issues 148, comments 1,033, and total contributions were 1,326, but divided by 121 people, which is amazing. Umbraco 9 is cross-platform as well as Umbraco 10. It runs on Windows, Linux, and macOS. It is working on the latest C#. We have keywords, we have nullable reference types, but I'm not going to dive into those, what new on C#, latest C#. Please encourage you to rewatch What's Next in C# from Matt Storgerson. It was an amazing talk. I watched online. Umbraco 9 launched with 40 packages ready, more than 40 packages ready, and now today, I counted manually, there are more than 140 packages available in our. But it's still Umbraco that we know and we love. Let's check some requirements. So first of all, Umbraco UI should work in all modern browsers. Underlining modern, and Internet Explorer is not there anymore, and it's gone now, thankfully. So Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, you can run Umbraco UI in any of them. Let's check some local development requirements. Version 8 is Windows only, and you need Visual Studio 2017, or actually you need .NET Core CLI and with any text editor. You need ASP.NET 4.7.2. You need either SQL CE, SQL, or SQL Server. With version 9, you can run your project with Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. You need Visual Studio 2019 and plus. You need .NET 5 SDK. And you need SQL Server, either remotely or on a Docker, because in order to run version 9 natively on a Mac or Linux, but you can't run SQL Server because it's Windows only, but you can put your SQL Server in a Docker to run or remotely, or SQL CE as local. And version 10, you can run it on Windows, Linux, Mac OS with Visual Studio 2019 and plus with .NET 6 SDK with SQLite support. Let's check some production hosting requirements. These are for production. You need IIS 8 or IIS Express for version 8, as well as SQL Server 2012 and ASP.NET 4.7. With version 9, you need IIS 8, IIS Express, or Kestrel, or any proxy with Kestrel. You need SQL Server 2012 and plus, and you need .NET 5 SDK again. With version 10, you need IIS 8.5 and plus, you need SQL Server 2012 and plus, and .NET 6 plus. And if you haven't, I'm sure that's not possible, but if you haven't heard Umbraco Cloud, please go and check it because it does everything out of the box. Let's check some installation. With version 8, we had a few options where you actually can download Umbraco files with it extracts from a zipped folder, which I'm not quite sure if anyone still does it. Please do not do it, please. Or you can download it from NuGet on either Visual Studio or Rider. With version 9 and plus, we have .NET Core template engines for both project and package creations. So what you need to do is from either a terminal or command line or PowerShell, you need to install Umbraco templates, and then you can create your project, build, then run. Or after installing the templates, you can go Visual Studio to create a new Umbraco project to start working with Umbraco 9 and 10. Let's check how to install these. So we have .NET Core template engine and in Visual Studio easily install everything for both projects and package creation. This is a creation and install Umbraco, create a new Umbraco project. What you need to do is .NET new Umbraco -- your project's name. And you can go into that project after you create, and then .NET build, then .NET run, and it takes around 5 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. With version 10, it's a lot faster even. So with version 8, you would get the best results if you install Umbraco on a blank C# web application, Visual Studio project. So what you need to do, go File, New Project, ASP.NET Web Application, using .NET Framework 4.7.2. And you need to choose an empty project template and do not enable any of the checkboxes, leave them all unselected. And then after creating this project, you need to go to NuGet Package Manager, which I'll show you in here right now, and then install Umbraco CMS, and then build and run. And it takes good amount of time. I mean, not really so fast, what I'm trying to say, comparison to version 9 and 10. And with version 9, what you need to do is right-click on your Visual Studio, create a new project, write Umbraco, and select Umbraco project. You can define your framework. You can select .NET 6 or .NET 5 for version 9, and you can define your Umbraco version and also whatever the database that you want to use, including SQLite for version 10, and then that's it. All created. Everything is in place. And these are the images of the landing page after you run Umbraco. With version 8 and 9, you see this friendly little chair. And with version 10, that's upgraded, and it's beautiful. There is also an unattending install option where you can after installing Umbraco templates, with one line of code, you can define your project's name, backoffice username, your user email password, and your connection string with the Umbraco version that you want. And then with just this one line of code, you can just download Umbraco and start working on it. It's quite powerful and really, really fast. These are 3 different newly installed Umbraco projects. Now you see there are some differences, and I'll be telling you in a bit. So we do not have app data folder anymore. It is lowercase Umbraco folder. All the logs, models, and exam indexes are now in lowercase Umbraco folder. We don't have capital case Umbraco anymore as well, and it is www root now. All the CSS and JavaScript and static code and media moved to www root. And if you check, there is no Umbraco, lowercase Umbraco folder on www root on version 10 anymore, as that backoffice files are now embedded in Razor class library. And most of the config folder is gone as well. And most of the files are now embedded in DLL on version 10.2. So with version 9 and 10, we use unified MVC with web APIs, so there's no code duplications anymore. You see 2 different, let me say, client projects here, sort of. And if you look carefully, we still have app plugins for custom extensions. We have app start on version 8 for composers, and now on version 9, we have them in startups, yes. Our assets folder in the project itself on version 8, but on version 9, they are under the www root folder. We have controllers actions for surface controllers, and now they are in components. We still have extensions, we still have usync, and we have views as well. They're all the same. We used to have web config, now we have app settings.json. I'll be coming to that in a bit. Let's check some package installation methods. On version 8, we had NuGet installation. We had our umbraco.com/packages, and you can install them from there or from back office. With version 9, we only have NuGet package install because of the limitations on .NET Core. Also because the NuGet was always the best practice. This is how the .NET world works, and everyone should do this way. And all these legacy methods are now gone because they were not as good. Although you can't download, you can still browse packages from our and from back office. And there will be a new community package site, and you didn't hear it from me. Let's check some views and templates. On version 9 and plus, we have pre-compiling option for views. You can specify this from your CSProsh, so there is no breaking on runtime, and you can actually inject dependency injections in your views. So you create your service and register it in Startup or Composer. This injection wasn't possible, and you needed to create a view model, but now you can inject it in Vue. But here's your warning: before you do it, please think about it. Things still needs to be in models, in controllers. You can do this, but should you really do this? Some partial views. This is HTML, a partial, and your partial name and model, how we did it on version 8. I was creating a version 9 site when it first released, and I had to create some partials, and I couldn't find a way to do it. It's .NET Core, and I was so new in .NET Core. And I went down to view components, which I'm going to come in a sec. But I think it was Hackathon last year, and Lotte and Seb was converting CanCon site to Cloud9 site, and they did tag helpers. They are all asynchronized, and you can either create your controller asynchronized or use the tag helper to render your partial. Models here are optional. It's not quite different. It's another option we have as well, and it's quite powerful. Let's check child actions. So before, we needed child actions to parse our view model. And with view components, this is how we do it right now. So if we wanted to send a view model to a partial, we needed surface controller, but now with version 9 and .NET Core, we can do it with view components. And let me give you some little bit information with view components. View components can be created either deriving from view component or decorating the class with view component attribute, or deriving from a class with the view component attribute as well. Creating a class where the name ends with the suffix of view component. And like controllers, view components must be public, non-nested, and non-abstract classes. The view component name is the class name with the view component suffix removed. So in this example, my view component's name is test1 only, not test1 view component. And view components also explicitly specified using view component attribute.name property. It fully supports constructor dependency injection. And when rendering, runtime searches, please bear with me, views folder, controllers name folder, components folder, and view component names folder, and then view name, or views folder, shared folder, components folder, view component name folder, and view name, or pages, shared, components, view component name, view name, or views custom components name.cshtml, or name as a folder and then default.cshtml. Sorry about that, but you can pick any, whatever you want to work with. And very recently, I had to create custom block list rendering logic. What I did was I created the component class to modify where to look for the views for block list views. Then while rendering, I also modified the default block list content page to invoke my custom view component class. And I actually had a PR open right now on docs sample repo, if you want to check it out. It looks scary, but it's really powerful, and it's not actually really hard to make. So let's move on. Oh, this is how it looks like. Your components, classes, and then your views on the left-hand side. Let's move on, web config and app setting JSON. We had all different environments files under web config. We still have app setting JSON, and they are JSON files. App setting JSON has IntelliSense now, which is quite cool because it actually reducing the time for us developers, Googling, copying, and pasting that. So it's really, really good. Let's move on to, this is web config, how it looks like just a portion of a web config file. It shows models builder stuff, and I'll be coming to that in a bit to tell the difference. And this is a portion of app setting.json file in 9 and plus version. And this one also has models builder here as well. in startup. So what we did was to create a new service or a composer using iUser Composer on version 8 for any kind of dependency injection. And with version 9 and plus, well, you can pick both of them, either iComposer, create your composers using iComposer, or you can actually create your service and just register it with startups, yes. This is how it looks like. So if you create a composer using iComposer, you don't need to actually register it anywhere because Startups, yes, has add composers method. It just gets everything automatically. If you're creating something else, then you need to register in here, like example service in here as well. Go and check Umbraco doc sample repo because we have loads of samples, code samples on how to do stuff there. And advice is actually use iComposer dependency injection if you are actually creating like a plugin or a package or a custom property editor for your project. And if it's related to your own project, use startups, yes. Inject your dependency injection with iUmbraco Builder to compose or register them in startup, yes. If you're using iComposer, just use iComposer. You can still use iUser Composer, but it's obsolete now, so it's better to use iComposer. Let's do some other differences. So we have models builder differences in here. Version 8, I can only tell them their names. I can't tell you what they do. Pure Live mode is now in memory mode, and general advice is not to use it. App data mode is now source code manual, which I know as a fact that after you change anything from back office, you need to go and click the button to regenerate your models. I don't like. But live app data is now source code auto, and with that, you don't need to click any buttons and you can work smoothly. Let's check the third-party dependencies. There are loads of third-party dependencies that kept, that new, and that removed. But these are, which I'm quite excited for, client dependencies now gone. I'm really, really happy about it. I hate working with client dependencies. Sorry, everyone. We use Smidge now. We had image processor on version 8. We have image sharp right now. And we had examine 1.3 with Lucene.NET 3. And with version 9 and plus, we have examine 2 and Lucene.NET 4.8. If you want to know more about it, rewatch Shannon's talk. It was right before my talk. What else? We had events on version 8. Now they are notifications. Umbraco doesn't support iLogger interface. Now we use Microsoft extensions logging with version 9 and plus. With version 8, we had ASP.NET Identity for users and membership helper for members. With version 9 and plus, we have ASP.NET Core Identity for both users and members. We used to have Viceout. If you can't see, it says boots failed there. And we now have Whitesout. And I think that's me. Thank you so much. The new technology is really cool. Umbraco 10 is now long-time support. It's not really scary once you get your hands dirty. And I am proud to say that I contributed this to happen and continue to do so. And that's me. Thank you.